Howdy, and welcome to everyone's favorite, a YouTube update. Everybody loves to watch and to make a YouTube update, so here we are. 15 years later. I've been doing this for 15 years. Started July 22nd, 2008, when I had just turned 15 at the end of May of that year, and you'll never guess it, but 15 years later, at the end of May, I have become 30. So I've been doing this for half my life. Pretty neat. We've had some good times. Some laughs, some cries, some video games. Mostly video games, it would seem. If you've never watched one of my updates, normally I just do, here's what we did in the past year, we'll reminisce a little, and then we'll talk about future stuff. We're going to have a lot of future talk for this one, but I want to start with a medical update. You've probably heard me mention it at some point, last year's update, constantly throughout videos, just because I almost died of a blood clot, and it's just on my mind. It was on my mind a lot, having almost died. But I'm mostly fine now. Here's the medical update for the year. I'm stuck on blood thinners for life, it would seem. My blood is just too adept at getting chunky and thick. So I need these blood thinners to stop my blood from clotting, which is a shame, especially because these pills are incredibly expensive if you don't have insurance, which, being an American citizen, is always a very, very, very real possibility. Y'all would have known. I don't want to go into too much, but it took a almost dying hospital bill on the chin last year, and that really sucked. But the update for now, blood thinners. Oh, what can you do? Take the pills, or I could take baby aspirin, but it's like, oh, you're more likely to get a blood clot then, even though it would help, but it's not the ideal solution. My doctor was even like, hey, you can just stop taking them if you're risky like that. And it's like, no, I think I'll just stick to the blood thinners. In the worst case scenario, I can do a baby aspirin. But also, I just had a lot of different medical checkups about let's check on this after this, see what's up. So I went to, I don't think he was a cardiovascular surgeon specifically. It was like cardiovascular, some bullshit, I don't know, some vein and artery surgeon dude, because my doctor recommended, she was like, oh, you should just go see what this guy has to think, if we need to perform surgery to remove the blood clot, which would be a major surgery, and so on and so forth. So I went to this dude and had an awful time. Could never schedule anything with this dude. He kept blowing me off. It was a pain in the ass. And he was like, oh, you should get an MRI. But I needed, I had a bunch of problems with my insurance, because my insurance kept changing, because I had, the state insurance, and then I had my employer, because I got a new job. I got a new job while dying, by the way. That was fun. My job just had this awful insurance, and they changed it this year to a better one, and eventually I was able to get this MRI, but it took, 6 months to get it. So I finally got the MRI, which was scary, by the way. It was like, oh, they stick you through a machine or whatever, because I had a CAT scan done before, but I was like, oh, this is much worse. Not to brag or anything, but my shoulders are a little broad, and going into that machine, I was like, oh my god, if the power turned off, I don't know how I would get out of this machine. It was a little close for comfort for me, and also, I don't like having to hold my breath, and as they were doing the MRI, they were like, oh, hold your breath. And I was like, oh shit, I did not, no one told me what this process was going to be like. So it really sucked being stuck in a tube thinking, oh god, what if I got stuck in here while not being allowed to breathe. It kind of sucked. But the reason I got this MRI is that surgeon wanted to check for May-Turner syndrome, which is the way your vein and artery go into your legs. One goes, your veins in your artery, the vein and the artery in your pelvis crisscross, and one goes to your left leg and one goes to your right leg. The artery is the one that goes to the right leg. The vein goes to the left, I think. Yes. I had to look down because I'm an idiot, I guess. And arteries are much chunkier boys than veins. Veins are a lot smaller. So May-Turner syndrome is the artery kind of chokes out the vein. And the surgeon was like, we'll just check for this. There's no way you have this, because when I have my blood clot, I have factor V, a gene that makes blood clotting more likely. I had just gotten COVID. COVID makes blood clotting more likely. And because of COVID, I had been inactive for a while, which makes blood clotting more likely. So it was like, perfect storm. You know, obviously we know why this happened. Well, the MRI results finally come back, and the dude's like, oh, you have May-Turner syndrome. So, you know, your artery is being choked out by your vein. So, you know, had a like phone call with the doctor, and he was very confused about my lack of symptoms, because he was like, oh, I assumed you would be in a lot of pain and have like swollen legs. So he was like, oh, you got to come in and see me so I can like inspect you and stuff. And, you know, finally it happened, and it sucked because I have to drive, you know, at the moment, you know, 3.5 hours to like Austin for this appointment, which blew. And the dude's like inspecting me, and then he's like, oh, okay, well, you know, based on your findings, it does look like you're fine. I'm going to recommend you wear a compression sock to keep your circulation good, because it's bad circulation now because of the blood clot thing. And he's like, yeah, I think you'll be good. You won't need the surgeries or anything, because what he was thinking, because I have this May-Turner syndrome, the surgery you would need to fix it is a stent in your, well, for me, it'd be my leg. I guess it would be always, because May-Turner involves leg stuff, which is simple enough. But because of my blood clot, they would have to remove the blood clot first before they could do it, which is a major surgery. But he's like, no, you know, if you're not in pain, you're not swelling. He's like, based on what we've seen, it seems like your blood clot, because it was never removed, it hardened over time. I think he used the word cemented. I think that was what he said. And my blood clot, which is still in my body, hardened and is now supporting my vein, so my artery isn't choking it out in a way that actually needs to be dealt with. And I was like, well, is this something that would need to be dealt with down the line? He was like, dude, if you're good now, it's gonna be fine. So I avoided major surgery, and like all my friends like to tell me, blood clot had the face turn of the century. You know, went from killing me to like, I'll help you out with this one, you sad little fuck. So that's the medical update, which took longer than I expected, but it's a weird story. So, videos that happened in the last year. We played Toad in the Hole by Louis Zong. I always love to see the weird stuff Louis makes. And, you know, like a kind of a Wario Land-like Game Boy game. Of course, I was going to give Toad in the Hole a shot, and I really enjoyed it. Just love seeing the weird things that Louis does. Let's Play a Ween. Every year I have a blast. I love playing all these little indie games. Little indie horror games. It's always a good time. I enjoy it a lot. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Maybe this is for the future section, but I'll be dead in the ground before I stop doing those videos. Hitman 3. We began Hitman 3. Hitman 3. We completed the campaign for Hitman 3, which let us begin Hitman World of Assassination. If that's a weird distinction, they just renamed Hitman 3 to Hitman World of Assassination. To compile the 3 games, the new trilogy, current trilogy, whatever you want to say, into one easier to buy package, because they had like confusing DLC shit. So it was just kind of to simplify it and put it all in one place, where it's like, this is the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy. It's just this one. You get this one, you're good. And it just happened to like line up that they announced like, oh, we're going to be changing the name with this update. Around when I finished the campaign, so I was like, whatever, I'll just, rename it since we finished the campaign. We're going into bonus stuff anyway, so why not rename it? That's all there is to that. We took a look at Pizza Tower when it was launched, and you won't believe this, but I liked Pizza Tower a lot. You probably even got it in that quick video of me going, oh hot damn, beginning of the game. I played and beaten the game now. I still really like it a lot. Believe it or not, I ended up really liking Pizza Tower. And the last thing on this docket doesn't seem like a lot, but feels like I've made a just shitload of videos. A Link Between Worlds, A Lock Between Worlds. We began that. I've been looking forward to doing that series for a long time. And it's going. It sure is going. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it does feel like I've done a lot of video junk. Even though when I wrote it down, I was like, is this really it? Okay, so the future of this channel, I'm just going to couch this right here because I feel like I've said some things that might sound a little worrisome. I'm not going to quit making videos. I feel like I might have said something that made it seem like maybe it was winding down. It's winding down a little bit, but I don't... Look, I've done this since I was 15 years old. My brain is not it's not good. It's not a good. It's 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 just like, I will probably continue making videos regardless. Oh, my notes went away because I have not touched my mouse in a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna keep making videos. I don't want anyone to think that I was gonna quit. I'm not even sure if that got by in what I was saying. I just was like a little worried. I was like, did I say something that may seem like I'm gonna quit making videos? Because I'm not going to, but they're probably gonna slow down a bit. I've just kind of been rushing from series to series. At least, I had the big break from the whole, almost dying thing, but it just feels like I've been doing a lot of them. And there are, other things I want to do as well. So they might just slow down a bit and not be like constant series going left and right. But, I've been doing it for 15 years. It's probably going to continue. So, actual future things. And actually, while we're here, there probably won't be an update video next year. I don't know if we really need to bother with the whole rigmarole. I've been doing these update videos since I think the 10th year anniversary. I think that's when the first one was. And, I guess I could if update videos are such a beloved thing. But despite what I said at the beginning, I imagine it's not that important. Especially because I'm going to outline a lot of just plans going forward. It's, it'll work out. I'll be fine. So the first one I have right here is potential random playthroughs with some of my friends, just in group chats and stuff. It'll be like, oh yeah, we should play that. We could do that. That'd be great. And scheduling things like that is hard to keep track of the many promises I make. But you could just expect some maybe some just random ones of just my pals and I maybe sit down and play something for fun. What a shock! Playing a video game for fun with your friends. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. So we finished the campaign. The campaign, that feels weird to say. The main game. And the only thing left is the titular Impossible Lair. We tried back in February, Steve and my friend Evie and I, to go through it. And after like about 2 hours of recording, we only got about 38% through. And I kept kind of consistently failing near the middle or the end. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember. Of the water section. And I realized, oh shit, I just need to sit down and practice. But the problem has been, I've just kind of been making videos constantly. So it's like, despite the fact, I'll talk about just random little breaks, but, it's just been like, oh, I just need to sit down and just practice this game and kind of figure out how to do this Impossible Lair thing so we can do it. So it will happen. I just need to actually sit down and get good, as you could say. Hitman. I have no fucking idea when Hitman will end. IOI hasn't said like, oh, there won't be any big updates to Hitman. In fact, they have like throughout the year like, oh, here'll be a game update. But most of that's been like bug fixes and little things like that, little like balance patch stuff, it seems. Aside from Freelancer back in January, which was a huge, big new game mode thing. So yes, I don't know. I can't say like, oh, Hitman, I have a big road. Like IOI, have a roadmap for where it's going to go. Right now, we are in elusive targets. Got a lot of those. I'm not sure how long that will go for, because like they have that scheduled till the end of the year, but it seems like they might repeat the same elusive targets every year. So I'm guessing that maybe next year there might not be new elusive targets to look for. If there are, obviously we can go for them or whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure since... Will more stuff happen? Will different stuff happen? I can't really say, so it's gonna just keep going. But for now, it's elusive targets. That being said, and I've said this part before, I would like to end the series with a big Freelancer run. I think that would be a fun way to cap off the World of Assassination trilogy. But also, I have access to some new toys. You might notice that there's some Mario Kart footage on screen. So my girlfriend's gotten into streaming, and she has a capture card, and I've always been very stubborn, like, I don't want to buy a capture card, but it's like, she already has it. It's like, oh, cool, can I use that to, like, record some Mario Kart footage? So, I might do some dumb little things that now I can record. I'm not going to try and get too, like, oh, I can use this for a lot of stuff, because A, it's hers, and B, I don't want to like suddenly think, oh, I can Let's Play Captain Toad now, because that might be a cool thing to do, but I don't want to get into that mindset, because then oh boy, I'll just keep doing junk. But the reason why this is related to Hitman is she just got like a VR headset, so I can borrow that to try out some VR stuff in Hitman, which I don't know how that'll go. I think I've used VR twice in my life, and the last time I would have done it would have been, I think that was 2019. So I imagine that I'm not going to be a very good at using VR person. I would like to give it a shot, see how it goes. And I mean, if it's fun, you know, there just might be more Hitman VR junk that we can do. I'm not exactly sure how limited it is, or if it's specific to like, oh, you can do these parts, but you know, you can't do like the full game VR or whatever. You know, we'll see. We'll figure it out when that time comes. Because right now, it's elusive targets, and I'm so behind on elusive targets. Like right now, I have like up to like episode 23 recorded, and today I just released like 19, so I still have to bit to edit. A Link Between Worlds. I thought that it would be over by now. I think I had estimates. Maybe it was more for September or August. I don't remember. I estimated when I thought it would end. I got a little distracted, you know. Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I fell into a Zelda hole, and then I hit a point where I was like, I need to sit down and edit some videos instead of just being in a Zelda hole. And then I sat down to edit videos, and I use Vegas for my editing, and it was just being a bigger piece of shit than usual. Just kept crashing constantly, more than usual. And I was like, well, what's wrong? And I, you know, messed around with it and looked at it, and I realized the problem was with my main storage hard drive. You know, my computer's 6 years, I think 6 years old. Yeah, I made it in 2017. That's how math works, yes. 2017, so it's 6 years old. So it's not too old, but my main storage drives weren't the best. You know, I just kind of got them like, I can store stuff on there. So the hard drive actually is perfectly fine. It just doesn't, I don't think it spins up quick enough anymore to actually use for video editing, because Vegas will constantly be like, nope, file's gone, you know, and then Vegas, being a piece of shit, has to just completely implode on itself. So it took a bit to figure out editing stuff after I climbed out of the Zelda hole, you know, strapped a rocket to myself, got out of the hole, and then I realized, that rocket hit my hard drive. So then that caused some problems. So you might have noticed a bit of a gap in videos for a bit. It wasn't all due to Zelda, but I'm playing a Zelda. You get it. You know. So yes, I think A Link Between Worlds should be able to end before October and shouldn't step on any Halloween stuff. That being said, Hitman stuff might continue into October, just because I am so behind on elusive targets. That might be a thing. But hopefully we can knock out A Link Between Worlds before then. Because at the moment, I think there will be 18 episodes total. 8 is the last one. I have 9 that I have to edit. And then there's going to be just a small like bonus video on Street Pass in there, because I was at one point going to throw it in the middle of an episode. And I was like, I should probably just split this out and just make it its own thing, which would also bring the playlist of the videos up to 20, which feels nice for my brain. Pizza Tower. I did say Pizza Tower would be the thing after A Link Between Worlds, but like with Yuke, Pizza Tower I'm going to need some practice at. Pizza Tower has some very high skill ceiling things in it that you can do. And I would like to show off Pizza Tower in a comprehensive way, like when I did like Wario Lands, like when I did Shake It, where I did some challenges in that game. I said, boy, I sure regret doing that. I wouldn't do that. Pizza Tower has some challenges, I'll tell you what. So it's going to need some practice, so it's not going to come out immediately, but it will come out. I am going to do Pizza Tower, I promise. I really loved it, and I want to show it off to the best of my ability. So Pizza Tower will happen. Don't know exactly when, but it will. Halloween, like I said, I'll be dead in the ground before I stop doing Let's Play-O-Ween. So, obviously that's happening again this year. We're doing the 13 Indies, that style, because that has been working out well for me. That being said, the videos kind of slowed down a bit, and I'm not pumping out series like, A Link Between Worlds, running up against, the beginning of October. If maybe it's in a better place, I was thinking maybe for next year, depending, this isn't saying it's going to happen, maybe for next year, I was like, I could do more. I could go back to the 31 game thing, and that's a bad idea. I'm not going to do that. I caught myself. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to the 13 Indies thing, but I was thinking maybe in addition to it, I could do my monitor is turned off again. I could do like a standalone playthrough of like, oh, there's some like longer horror games that I would love to like check out for, October stuff, but I couldn't really do them in like the 13 Indies like thing, because it's like, well, I want to pick kind of shorter games. And with 13, it's like, oh, I feel like even if I pick something that's like an hour or 2 hours, it all works out in the end. But there's like games that are like 10 hours or some bullshit. Who would have guessed games that could be 10 hours? That maybe we could do like a separate playthrough. Like this, I probably shouldn't say this one because it's just something I had on my mind because I just got it. But I got Yomawari, which is a game I've been excited to try. But it's like I keep thinking like maybe I could do something for like October Halloween stuff, and so that could be a possible thing. It's not happening this year. I'm just kind of laying my cards out on the table. So like maybe this could be the last update like I was saying. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. And video's super duper slow down. I could just turn this into a horror YouTube video game channel and rake in the big bucks. I could make up to maybe a penny, maybe two if I'm feeling a little greedy about it. So yeah, there's that. I keep mentioning this one. The Legend of Zelda, the Oracles games, it's still like a maybe thing. It's something I keep thinking about where I'm like, oh god, I have such a big idea for this that I think would be really cool, but it's also a lot of work, so I haven't really thought about it too much, especially since we had A Link Between Worlds to do first. So it's still kind of in a maybe pile, but I do really want to do it. So it's hard maybe good, or it's a maybe leaning towards yes. But I'm not worrying about that. We have A Link Between Worlds first, so that would be a later thing. But hey, maybe I'll do it. And also, just because this is trying to future-proof this thing, there's probably some games I've not said here that could be like something I would play. Like I mentioned, like random playthroughs with friends or whatever. But the new game might come out and I might go, hot damn, I need to play that. Like, once again, maybe I shouldn't say this one specifically, because who knows in the grand scheme, but like Mina the Hollower Yacht Club Games, the Shovel Knight devs, their new game, which looks like it's inspired by Game Boy Color Zelda. So, just thinking about it, it's like, that'd be pretty good. Maybe I'm hoping it's really good because I'm very excited for that one. So this might be other things that I didn't list that could be a thing, but that's basically all and I don't know why I said basically. That is all I had for this update. This ran a little longer than I meant it to, but this is to be the final one, then that's probably good. I've created my Gem in the Hologram thumbnail, so I'm banking on this being the big good one, where hopefully I did really good at Mario Kart and y'all are like, oh damn, that boy knows how to drive in Mario Kart well, despite hating cars and just them conceptually. Cars just make me nervous. I don't like them. It's like, it also just sucks to drive places. But yeah, that's the update. Thank y'all for 15 years of excitement. I once was 15 years old and making videos, and now I'm 30 years old. That's pretty cool. It's also very fun to bug my family and be like, I'm 30, and they're like, fuck, god damn it. But yes, thank you very much for watching this and other things. I appreciate it. I may get a little sarcastic about it, like, oh, YouTube, but I do enjoy it. I have a fun time. I mean, it's very easy because it's a hobby for me and I don't have to base my livelihood on it. It's just something I do for fun, and I make jokes about it where it's like, not a lot of people watch my videos, but honestly, that's for the best. I don't have to deal with a lot of numbnuts coming into the comments and like trying to start shit. Sometimes it happens and it's like, why? This video has like 30 views, dude. This is, well, all right, okay, if you want to, I guess. But yeah, that's 15 years. I'll see you in another 15 for the return of Phoenix Wright a Bridge.